Cool. So welcome to another hashtag Ask Jim. So it's a smaller group because there's a few issues with contracts and stuff. So there's a smaller group tonight. So it's a good thing for people here because they can ask you anything they like multiple times as well. So what we're going to do first is, before we get into the questions, Jim's going to read out the local heroes winners. So we have an initiative going on at the moment where $2,000 a week we give away to someone in the community and $500 a week in New Zealand for people who do good things in the community. So you can nominate someone via our websites, and then hopefully when we go through the answers, we read them out, and Jim will read them out every week on the show like we do.
Okay, Australian winner this week, Peter Butler in Brisbane, $2,000 worth of Jim's services. Peter and Margaret are truly remarkable people. 5 years ago, I lost my best friend who came from Egypt with nothing and was soon diagnosed with breast cancer. With no money, accommodation or support, Peter and Margaret opened their home to her, providing a place to stay, food and care till she passed away. Peter's generosity extends further. He plays a key role in a cancer research fund that received a $15 million donation from a late friend's estate. Their garden has been neglected and they're unable to maintain it. They truly need and deserve some help. So $2,000 worth of gardening or whatever they want.
That's it.
New Zealand winner Patricia Tiatia, $500 worth of Jim's services. Patricia is a dedicated registered nurse at Middlemore Hospital Accident and Emergency Department, displaying genuine care and utmost respect for patients regardless of background or history. She has a heart of gold. Due to her long hours as a shift nurse, I nominate her as she cares for her elderly patients and supports her siblings around the home when she has any time, space and energy. I am honoured to nominate her as a potential recipient for this Jim's Award. $500 worth of services.
There you go. It's easy as that. So via our website, there's a nomination form there. You can nominate anyone you like. The more detail you give, the better. And then hopefully we'll be reading them out every week and we do them on this show as well. So it's a good initiative that Jim's been right behind and championed. And I think it's a great thing, which franchisees even now do in their own area. So we'll talk about today, but franchisees do this in their local area. It's a great way of marketing and stuff like that as well. Yeah. Cool. All right, let's get into it. So who's got the first question for Jim? You wrote down a few for Steph today, but we want you to stand up and read it out. So, yeah. Ask as many as you like.
This is a man who's keen on fitness. He's already used the gym well.
So good day, Jim. My name's Michael. I'm jumping into the Jim's Mowing division. I wanted to ask you, you're into your fitness. What are you able to bench press?
I have no idea. What I normally do is use 8 kilo weights and I just lift them above my heads and this kind of thing. That's the main I do. I do about 140 of those.
You lay on the ground and do the dumbbell press as well, don't you, sometimes? You lay on your back
dumbbell,
and do that?
No, I do it.
You used to do that?
With just 16 kilos. There's not much.
That's all right.
You probably do a lot better. How much can you bench press?
I've just done 30 kilo dumbbells, so that's pretty good.
60. I don't know. 60 or less.
Yeah, 60.
Probably around what you weigh nearly.
Kilos.
60, yeah.
60.
You got to lift me.
I still consider myself a beginner, to be honest. But
all right.
When we get a bench press in there, we might have to try Jim and see how he goes, which is not too far.
It's very good. You look very fit and energetic and happy and vigorous. Which another way to do that is, of course, is to buy a lawn mowing franchise, and that's even more exercise.
You see a lot of our mowing guys love the fitness for it. A lot of the guys come in overweight, and then within 3 weeks, 4 weeks, they've lost 12 kilos. It's better than Jenny Craig, plus you get paid for it. So
that's right.
It's the way to go. Anyone got another question for Jim? Come up and just ask them, guys. We've got all night for ask Jim as many questions. Even though you write them down, we'd love for you to ask them. Do you want me to read one out? All right, go for it. Just come up and do it. Yep. Anything you like. Everyone gets a prize as well, so it's a good little bribe there for you.
How you going, Joel and Jim? My name's Steve. I'm doing mowing up at Maryborough, Queensland. Not the most creative question. Probably get this all the time. You may have already answered part of it during the training, but what's the most valuable piece of advice you can give us as, I suppose, new business owners in how we run our business?
Just look at what you do every day and try and do it better. It's as simple as that. It's dinner people were talking to me about having the vision and stuff. I really didn't have much of a vision. I just wanted to do what I did better. When I was mowing a lawn, how can I do it faster, better? When I started franchising, how can I make my franchisees happier? How can I cut the costs? How can I improve the service? Just constant driving to improve what you do. That's the simplest key. And be just passionate about whoever you serve, customers, in our case, franchisees.
Fantastic.
Staff.
Thank you very much.
It's a good question. If you go to Jim's profile, we see him say that a lot of time, that advice, but it's a really good bit of business advice, but it's a really good one. It's a good question. Anyone got a question for Jim? You wrote a lot down, which is great, but we want you to come up and ask him. It's a free for all. Just ask whatever you like. Go for it. So a lot of good ones written down here as well, we can get to as well if we need.
So Jim, I'm Yolandi. I'm from an education background. I'm a school teacher as I'm standing at the moment. And I'm guessing as a school teacher, what would have been one of your worst report comments that would have gone home to your parents?
Good one, it's the original one.
Worst comments. I used to argue with my teachers a lot. Whether they reported it to my parents, I don't know, but I was always one to tell the teachers they were wrong. Politely, but I had my own views. I can remember teachers saying, I think this means this, and I said, I don't think it means that at all. I was very independent-minded. I remember seeing an essay that I did as a student, and it was asking me to talk about nice animals, so I decided to put a Tyrannosaurus Rex. I said he's nice because he likes little animals so much. You know, that is my way of looking at things.
Awesome, thank you.
Were you a good student, Jim? Did you get many good grades? How was your report card?
Yeah, it was okay. Decent enough student.
Decent enough. There we go. Good question. Thanks. That's the original one. We haven't
that
had
is,
that one before.
that is a new one. I've never heard that one before.
Really good. Guy, you got a question, guys? Feel free to jump up to the mic and ask Jim. Just run up. No hand up. Just go for it. Anytime. Keep them coming.
Hey Jim, it's an honour. I'm Tinas. I'm looking at pest control franchise. So my question to you is, when you want your lawn mowed and you call the call centre, do somebody actually pick up the lead, or are they too afraid to make a mistake, knowing that you are the king of lawns?
They don't actually get a choice. If I was to call the call centre, usually I wouldn't. Usually what I would do is I would go to the system and I'd check who's in my area and I'd look at their ratings. And I pick somebody who's got at least a 4.7, ideally 4.8 or above. And then I know that I've got somebody good. So I use my inside information to get the best service. But occasionally I do go through, I had a flat tyre and I didn't know who to call, so I went to the call centre. This guy called Frank rang me back 10 minutes. Fantastic. So, but he didn't seem too scared. Gave him a nice review.
Thank you.
Detect the accent, South Africa.
Yes.
Yeah, and you're doing pest control in Manny's division, Manny's region?
I do, yeah.
In Manny, so Manny's South African as well. So are you in Perth or which area?
Yes,
WA, yeah. Large South African community in WA. And they do really well as franchisees. I think last franchisee interviewed with South African was the $2 million revenue franchisee.
That was him, was it?
Yeah. So
You can't rely on welfare over there, can you? No. You work or you don't eat.
That's right.
go for it.
Hey, Jim, Joel Lindsay from Carpet Cleaner in WA, Yanchep. Just circling back to your original story around when you first looked at the contracts and what you would want to sign as a franchisee. Just wondering how much of the decision to put into, I guess, the protection for the future for the franchisees, how much of that is circling back to those feelings you had back then as opposed to maybe a legacy or some other reason?
It's more like a family thing. You want your kids to be looked after. And I'm sure you think about that. What will happen to my children when I'm gone? In a sense, franchisees are, I don't want to be infantilize people, but I kind of feel the same way. It's just a personal mission. Why do you get up in the morning? What are you for? Well, it's not so I can make a lot of money, so I can, buy a yacht and go and cruise the Caribbean or something like that. It's because I want to do a job that's useful. I'll tell you one thing, I would never do a job that I couldn't see a function for. And I'll give you examples, things like being in trading in cryptocurrency and stuff. I just couldn't do it because nobody benefits. It's just gambling, it's just speculation, there's no value to it. I have to think that what I'm doing has some purpose.
Yeah.
Email me, I'm going to email you in a month's time, I'm going to ask you how you went, and you're going to write back, aren't you? Tell me how you're going. Most of you will tell me you're doing well, and maybe one or two of you might say you've got some problems, and then I'll see what I can do to help.
There won't be any Jim Coin or nothing like that. Jim's NFTs or something like that running around. Jim Coin.
We did have a look at...
We've suggested it a while back. We did look at it a while back.
We did look at Jim Coin, but I think there's... A stable coin, not like a floating one.
We did investigate that with CoinSpot actually. This is back we did it in April Fool's jokes. We do it every year, and Jim Coin was one, and it was so well received. We thought, we might as well look at this. We reached out to CoinSpot. They're just doing some thing in it.
It's funny how April Fool's jokes often come out to be something
half
real.
believable, half,
Well, we did the one on me going to be Premier, and then it got such a good reaction that I think, well, maybe I will stand for Parliament.
It's true. Go for it.
Josh from Jim's Hazmat, not as a franchisee, I've been brought on as a marketing person. Over the last few weeks, my research has seen how much the Jim's brand has so much trust. So a lead-up question to my actual question is, do you have any stats on people that use one service with Jim's and then go on to use another? Like what percentage of people would use?
I don't have stats, but most of the time when I look up somebody for a job, they've used more than one service. So usually, I think most of our clients these days would have 2 or 3. Often you find like 6 different things going. It's quite rare actually to find a person who's never used any other gym service ever. Because you look up by the name or by the address. Because when I want to investigate a complaint, that's what I do.
I'm sure you've thought about this, and I just wondered why, the reasons behind that you haven't some sort of loyalty program for our clients or customers to maybe it's a loyalty program or a discount if they use a number of our services. Membership maybe.
Were you there on Monday morning?
Yeah, I would have been.
You heard what I thought about discounts? I'm not a fan. We had over 200,000 leads in the last year. We do not give discounts to anybody for anything.
If it's a loyalty program or something.
But why?
So that they can.
The loyalty program I want is for my franchisees. Like, for example, we do things for franchisees like large screen TVs, which they can buy for a fraction of the cost.
You know, we had the $40 and
over $1,000 TVs going for $250. You know, free tickets to the football, all kinds of. We'd like to do a lot more than that. Franchisees are where I want my loyalty programs to go because we don't really lack clients the great majority of the time. What we really need more of is franchisees. So yeah, that's where we put our efforts. How do we keep you guys with us? That's my big challenge. That's what we talk about a lot. What can we do? What more can we do for you? We'd love to do, one of the things we'd really love to do, and this is a kind of a loyalty program, is we'd like to develop a resort somewhere where we do it in such a way that franchisees can come and stay there, particularly in the off season, for very, very, very little. So if you can go and get a nice family holiday for a week in the middle of winter in a nice place, and it might cost your whole family $100 or something like that, and that includes food. I mean, something of that nature.
All the big tech companies outsource.
Yeah, they sort of have retreats and stuff. Yeah, exactly.
We don't have the kind of money they have per franchisees because we actually don't. The actual profit that we make from our franchise network is about probably 1% of turnover. It's very tiny. So there's not a lot of margin, but when we do things like Bizza, which is selling off leads to external franchisees, there's always been a promise, we'll keep the money with you, franchisee benefits. And that's one of the things we want to do with it. So yeah, loyalty programs is great, but for franchisees. One thing we do intend to do actually is we're developing a customer app.
Yeah.
And when the whole thing is established and when Gymshop is working properly, we'll actually be able to get a better standard, like customers who get well rated by franchisees and use us multiple times and respond to surveys, we'd like to give them special treatment, but not so much a discount, but what we would do is say, for example, if you are, we can have franchisees who say, I only want gold clients. So the best franchisees get the reward to say you can choose to only look after the best clients. And the clients that have a big, strong interest in that, because the more jobs they book and the higher the conversion rate and the better the rating they get, the more their customer rating goes up. So we want to encourage the best clients to use this again and again. That's the kind of loyalty program we want to use. The other thing too is when we have pay for work guarantee. So you've got a new person starting up who's like a cleaner, needs to do some freebies. We go to our gold clients in the area and say, look, because you're a fantastic client, we'd like to offer you $80 worth of house cleaning for free. Because we know quite well they're very likely to keep on booking them. So that's the kind of program we'd like to do, hopefully within the next year or so.
It's a good thought. It's just hard because we've got a lot of divisions who don't do any set pricing, right? So there's car detailing do set pricing, and you've got maybe cleaning for some sorts of things. So trying to get buy-in from everyone's a bit difficult. But the app that's going to be developed, which has been signed off on, the customer app, as Jim was saying, yeah, you can have a franchisee, let's say Hazmat, for example, and they've got to do pay for work guarantee. We can send a push notification to all the app users in the area saying, hey, do you want a free mould inspection report or whatever it is, all right? So we've never been able to do that before. So that's something that's really exciting for us because we can offer free services, part of the pay for work guarantee directly to people in the area. And let's say 500 people know in Brisbane, for example, that there's a Hazmat person in there as well. And if they get 10 free jobs out of that to do the pay for work guarantee, it makes things a lot easier as well. So that's what we're looking more to do.
We also appreciate clients to give us feedback. That's very important, including negative feedback. In fact, especially negative feedback. If people let us know what we're doing wrong and we can feedback from that to improve our service, that's a very strong bonus plus. So we'd like to, about 30% of clients respond to surveys. We'd like to actually recognise that too.
I do think a good idea though when you're saying it was the, we've got a merch shop obviously, so we've got a lot of good merch, so maybe if they have 6 jobs booked or paid for, they can get points to get something from the shop or something. If they want to wear a gym shirt around, that might be something we could do. I reckon that'd be cool.
Love it.
Yeah, they do.
The kids love it. It's like
They do.
the gym's group sort of.
All TikTok is probably
But
under...
how would you fund it though?
Well, that's I'd have to come up with.
Because
we'd have to talk about
franchisees,
that, but
we're not going to ask franchisees to give discounts. That's the one
no.
thing.
But I think points for like merch from our merch store or something like that. Maybe I don't know.
How would you fund it?
We've got to work
Who's
it
going
out.
to pay for it?
Maybe branding fund, but we'd have to work it out if we had enough in there for
The
that sort of
goal, I
stuff.
guess, but what I'm saying is trying to get people that have used Jim's Mowing for a long time to now know that dog grooming exists or know that all these other divisions exist and try and get them over.
Well, it's a challenge for even Jim because we do videos with Jim and say name all the divisions, and it's sort of hard. Like there's things, but people sort of get the sense now that Jim's does everything. And I'll give you an example. So I interviewed 2 bathrooms franchisees last 2 days, and I say to them, how do you go with conversions? And they go, we convert more because a lot of people don't know we do bathrooms, but when they find out Jim's doing bathrooms, they've used us before for something else, and they'll convert way more because they trust the brand already. So it is an awareness issue for some individual divisions to get more known, but once you get that into someone's face, convert higher. But
If the app works the way the customer app works the way we envisage, what will happen is that you'll actually go into the app for services and it'll list available services in your area. So you might be looking for mowing, but you go, oh, they do cleaning or they do dog wash, whatever, they do pest control. That kind of thing. But difficult to give them money, as I said, because franchisees, we can't ask franchisees to give discounts. It just doesn't happen.
And you're a fan of the Roman Empire because I read the first 4 pages of your book. Have you
Only
seen-
4?
Yeah,
Right.
I'll get through
I'm a
it.
fan of who?
The Roman Empire.
Oh, yeah. Well, I haven't actually. It sounds interesting. Gladiator 1 was certainly great. What do you reckon?
Yeah, 2's just as good, I think.
Yeah, it is good. Not terribly historical, I'm afraid. Commodus was not killed in the arena, least of all by a ex-Roman general. He was killed in a palace coup, basically, which was actually involving an ex-gladiator and one of and a mistress and a few other people. So, not in the arena as they showed. It's actually interesting too. He reigned for about 13 years. From the Glim Gladiator, you'd think he was there for like 6 weeks, and that was all he got. He got snuffed at the end of it. So, but
Hollywood for you.
yeah. The other thing too about Gladiator too, my family gets really furious at me because I always point out the historical inaccuracies of any film I watch. Shut up, Dad!
If you don't know, Jim's got a PhD in history, so he knows a bit about it.
Well, yeah. I mean, one of the things people don't understand about Gladiators is the kind of carnage you saw in that film was not very typical. You had about a 20% chance of dying in the arena. Most of the gladiators who fought actually didn't get killed. Now, eventually, it was a pretty dangerous job. It's not something you and I want to go in for, but it wasn't quite as bloodthirsty as all that. In fact, in Republican times, it was kind of very bad form to kill a gladiator. They didn't like doing it because they were so valuable. They liked them to fight. So
there you go. You learn it.
Been to Rome?
no, I've never been to Rome.
Come on, go for it. Good question.
Hi Jim, my name is Umesh and I'm from Queensland's Sunshine Coast and I'm after Jim's Mowing. And my small request with you is, can you share your experience when you sold your first franchise?
First franchise sale.
Yeah, that's interesting.
Good question.
Actually, what happened is I've been selling lawn mowing rounds for some time. That was my business. I was building up and selling lawn mowing rounds. So when I franchised, it was just a case of somebody who was going to buy a lawn mowing round, and I said, why don't you buy a franchise instead? Because it's the same cost, but you get ongoing support. And if you want to go independent, you can. There was no trying to trade in those days, so yeah, all right, okay, let me do it. That was June '89. Little knowing that it'd be the first of, how many since then I don't know, but 5,500 currently. Yeah, I couldn't even tell you his name. I could probably find out, actually, but it would have been about June '89, which is 35 years ago. Who knew?
Good question.
Good question.
Never had that one. Feeling with the first franchise sale. Got a question, guys? Come up and ask it. Anything you like. Good platform to ask Jim anything. As you can see, he'll answer anything.
G'day Joel, g'day Jim. Josh from Dogwash. Outside of mowing, can you tell me what your favourite franchise is?
That is a very loaded question,
Dogwash, yeah?
Dogwash with a wink, yeah.
Well, a bit of the gloss has come off it lately with all the trouble we've been having, so I don't know. There's so many good divisions. It's really hard to pick one. Dogwash is good. It's great. It's plentiful work. Great people, very attached to their job in a way that most divisions are. You don't have to love cleaning to be a cleaner, but you've got to love dogs, don't you? The first question I ask you, what's your dog?
Mine?
What breed of dog have you got?
British Bulldog.
A British Bulldog, yeah. If you didn't have a dog, we'd say, why haven't you got a dog? Why haven't you? Answer the question. So that's a good division. But, cleaning is fantastic. Cleaning is going so well. It's growing really fast. We've got about 1,500 in all the clean divisions.
1,500, yeah.
In all the clean divisions together, which is really good. It's the first division to sort of break away. It'll probably be bigger than mowing one day. Mowing's about 2,200 these days. So Hadar keeps on telling me, we're going to beat you one day, Jim. And I said, all right, that's good. I don't mind. I make benefits. I get benefits from that. I love Test and Tag. That's a great division. It's got very low attrition. That's one thing we really like. We hate attrition. That's the thing that really bugs me. People leaving. You guys, you've got to stay here till you're retired or dead. That is not allowed any other option. We don't want to lose anybody. All right. So low attrition makes me very, very happy. What else have we got here? Jumping castles. That's an interesting one too. This is going out having fun at weekends and putting up with kids. I mean, what do you think of something more fun than that? It's fairly new, but it's good. Just talking today about plans, how they're going to get off the ground. Pest control, that's a good one, very interesting. Lots of variety. What else have we got here?
We've got carpet cleaning.
Carpet cleaning, yeah, that's good.
We've got
with different clients.
And who else has got pest control, mowing?
You can also do upholstery and stuff.
Hazmat, hazardous material.
Hazmat, good earner, really good earner. So it's pretty. I love all my divisions. All my franchises.
It's a non-answer.
So your first answer was the best, yeah?
I didn't say that. I said mowing. Thank you very much. As we say in the old days, I bleed green. I have to say I have a special spot in my heart for the mowing business. I did it for 15 years. I had a business when I was out mowing lawns, and when I have spare time at the weekend, I'm up at my farm and I'm gardening and I'm mowing the grass. That is my hobby, all right? And that is the best reason for being in any business. Do something you love, and then it's not work, is it?
Sure is.
And the same thing, dog wash. I'm sure you're going to love it.
100%.
You say, even if I had to pay, I'd still do this job. It's so fun. But you're going to get paid instead. Make a lot of money.
He already does it. This gentleman.
Oh, of course,
Yeah,
yes.
yeah.
You've been doing it for years, haven't you? I know, yes. Yeah. Well, I shouldn't tell you. But it is good, isn't it? Isn't it fun?
That's great.
And you love the dogs and you get to know the clients. I know you've got a really good client base. You don't need any more clients.
Yeah, no, that's it. It's great.
Yeah.
Well, it's got the most amount of unserviced dog wash. That's more than mowing.
For those who don't know, Josh is rent to buy. It's a system we have where they can come in without any capital at all, work for a while. Some of the money goes to buying up the business. So eventually, there he is, franchise, no extra cost. So
Here I am.
It's a good success story. It's good to see that happening.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, really good. Good question.
And he's going to have a whole stack of people working for him one day, aren't you?
Yeah. Sure am.
Show us the example. We love success stories. People say, this guy's turning over $2 million a year. You're getting what? That much from it? I say yes, but what a great advertisement for the business. We call ourselves the millionaire factory in this. You know, I know lots and lots of multi-millionaires. Nobody outside of gyms, but lots within gyms.
Beautiful.
That's my type of millionaire.
Beautiful. Thanks for your time, guys.
Appreciate it. Good question. It's a non-answer, I guess, but we'll say mowing first and then everyone second. Yeah, it's a stump. Yeah, we've stumped him. Yeah,
You know, strangely, the only people that ever ask me that is dog wash people. I don't know why. You guys are known for this. You are known for asking that question. Really? I think I've been asked that about 10 times by dog wash franchisees. Nobody else has the chutzpah to do it. Really, seriously, Josh, they don't.
That's a good one. Good question. Got a question, guys? Feel free to come up and ask Jim. Anyone got anyone? More? Yep. Yeah. Come up, Sas, whatever's on your mind. I've got them all here from you written down, but prefer if you're up here.
How good is Gladiator 2, by the way, while I talk about it? Who's seen that?
Yeah, no, it's good. Yeah, I thought it was as good as the first one. So it's 15 years on.
I tell you what, I loved that battle scene at the beginning. That was really, really good. That was one of the best battle scenes ever in any film. Yep. Terrific. Sorry.
Hi, Jim. Nice to meet you. My name is Tari, and I'm from Bundaberg, Queensland. I'm a nurse, and I think it's your first time to do the Jim's healthcare.
Yes.
So I just want to know, what are your thoughts? Do you think it's going to have a good run? I'm going to give it my best to work in it.
It's got to be huge because it's a massive growing industry. The only concern obviously is that healthcare, your hourly rates, I know as a nurse you can actually make very good money doing healthcare, can't you?
Yes.
Which is great because nurses are paid, for the responsibility nurses take on, they get paid pathetically. It's just unbelievable how little nurses get. So to be able to have your own business, working from home, flexible hours, making far more money than the hospital, I think it's going to be very, very good. I think it'll be, well, we regard a division as really successful when it hits 100. In actual fact, if you look in the training, remember those plaques on the wall?
Yes.
Okay, there's a certain key to that. If you get 50, you get one plaque. If you get 100, you get 2. If you get
200 is 3.
200 is 3. 1,000 is 4. That's really hard to get. We haven't gone beyond that, so that's about it. So okay, I reckon healthcare will be up there before too long. I just think it's got the nature of it. It's one of the advantages of it. It's very female friendly, and most of our fastest growing divisions, like dog wash and cleaning, tend to be female friendly because women like flexible hours to fit around childcare and so forth. Enormous demand from the public.
Yes.
And it's just, we think it's going to be very, very good. You know, and Jared's he's a good guy, so.
Yes.
They put a lot into setting it up because we've done a lot of stuff.
They put a huge investment in. I don't think any division has ever had so much effort and thought put in. It's been over a long period of time to get it set up correctly. I think it'll be great.
We're in a good position because of Jim's as a trusted brand, right? And with all the shonky operators that are in that field, you know, I think all the compliance and stuff as well as that they've got in place.
We always think the best Jim's divisions are those where there's the most fear. So, for example, well, a big example. I mean, mowing is good for us, but typically speaking, if somebody comes in and does a bad job on your lawn, it's no big deal. But if it's a fence, for example, if your fence is not put up right and it falls down after 6 months, which can easily happen if they're not constructed right, Jim's is behind it. So we actually do very well with fencing. We do very well with dog wash because people care about their dogs more than their children most of the time, I have to be honest.
Yes.
Isn't that right? And I would think healthcare will be definitely, if you're going to have something to look after your aged parent, you want somebody you can really trust. And we are very scrupulous about screening, about training, about police checks, that kind of thing.
Yes.
Which of course you need anyway, but we go well beyond. So it's exciting.
Yes, it is.
Once it gets driving around and stuff like that. Driving school's done really well up in that part of the world as well. So driving school's got a really good start up there. Piece of unserviced. So once you start driving around, we'll do really, really well. It's a good question as well. Got any more questions, guys, for Jim? Got time? Just ask him anything you like. I've got him here. I can read some of yours out as well, real quickly. But if you've got one just in the meantime, please come up and ask. So I've got one here as well, Jim, which I think is a good one because we've been doing about this a bit. I don't know if is your phone Zhao from cleaning here? No. So he goes, how does Jim think of the disputes over him on the internet? So I presume there's obviously stuff in Reddit and maybe online when we do videos and stuff, you get some people commenting certain things. So about disputes, about this and that over you. You're a big topic on conversation on forums and stuff online. So what do you think about that sort of stuff is the question.
Well, it depends what it's about, I suppose. lot of what I say is controversial. I'm pretty. I'm against the sort of the educated elites that run our state and our country to a far great extent. I don't think ordinary working people are very well looked after by either political party. So I make my appearance known, and woke people don't like me a lot. So
They definitely don't. You can tell by Reddit for sure.
But having said that, you know, two of the people I love most in the world, two of my daughters are really extremely woke. So it's not. I don't hate woke people. I just don't like woke ideas very much. I've actually listened to a talking book called "We Are Never Woke," which is really interesting, and just talking about the way that elite ideas are actually. Well, they were describing a scene where in New York, where all these woke yuppies were out there supporting Black Lives Matter, and they were waving these signs, Black Lives Matter, at these cars, and everybody's honking, and they were feeling very virtuous. But while they were doing this, there's all these homeless black guys there, and they were just ignored. They even had to move aside, we need the bench kind of thing. It was just complete indifference to the actual welfare of the people by making these symbolic statements about how anti-racist and how good are we, while ignoring the real needs of people. Now, what's fascinating about the US election, which, I mean, this is really going to get people upset. You want this, okay,
Yep.
is the way that so many working people of all races are actually supporting the Republicans now. Like majority of Latinos actually seem to be voting Republican. More and more black men supporting the Republicans. Why? Because they actually seem to be caring about ordinary people instead of these hyper-educated elites. And I tell you what, I love Vance. I love J.D. Vance. I reckon he's a good man. He's a sincere Christian, which of course I relate to a lot. But he's also somebody who's come from that kind of background. He understands the pain the working people are going through. And when you have something like unchecked immigration coming in, which is fantastic for the elite because they get, you know, people, cheap nannies and people delivering stuff to their homes and all the advantages. But then working people are thrown out of their work because of competition from low-wage workers. So yeah. So there we are. That's going to get a storm somebody.
I try and avoid American politics and other topics, but yeah, that's all right. We're in there, but
I don't mind being unpopular.
No, that's all right, but because we do a lot of it, the negative comments. So a lot of people might not know, but on TikTok we nearly had 100,000 followers, and we've built a lot of that recently with responding to comments and stuff.
Trump is a very iffy character. He really is. I think the fact that he tried to overturn the last election they had was pretty nasty, and I don't appreciate it at all. And I think he's a crooked man in so many levels, and I don't like him at all, but I really think that it's shaken up American politics in some way, which is in some ways quite healthy.
Well, he's come out with his tariff announcements on 3 countries today, which is quite funny. That's already gone against Mexico, Canada and China with his tariff amounts. So yeah, it's great. It's already caused a bit of a stir. And yeah,
it's stirring everything up too. But I think you know, he'll be a good friend to Australia. As the Democrats always have been.
Well, Mr. Kevin Rudd's a bit worried because he's coming out posting things about saying how strong the relationship is and trying to grovel a bit. And I think Mr. Trump's
after what he said in the past, yes, you don't want to offend someone who becomes president, do you?
It's quite funny to see Kevin Rudd backtrack with all that sort of stuff.
There we are. There's some controversy for you.
Oh, we'll clip it up. It'll get a few views, that one. That's all right. Got any questions for Jim, guys? Feel free to come up and ask him anything you like. It can be about American politics more if you want. No, it doesn't bother us. Go for it. Anything you like that's on your mind. There's a lot of good questions here, so please come up and ask them. I will read a few out if we get stuck.
Another question, gents. It's pretty benign after that last
That's
little
what we
session.
need to get back into something more.
Oh, you can see the social media just going berserk after what I just said.
Yeah, when we put that clip out online.
Trump supporter, demon.
Well, we're promoting his book in America next year, so that could be something that works for us.
Go well.
Get thee behind me, Satan. Yeah. All right, go on.
With the franchises, do you ever get franchisees that'll come on, say, mowing, then after a few years they'll go,
good
trees looks good, and they'll take on a trees. And, hang on, skip bins look good. Do you have any stats on multiple?
I wouldn't say stats. If you're going to buy multiple franchises because you've got a big business and you're employing lots of people, that's not uncommon these days because it makes a lot of sense. You've got a good mowing business and you want to get into cleaning, or then you get a carpet cleaning franchise too, so you get multiple. But it's only worthwhile. You would never do that if you were just one person. But once you start, it's increasingly common. Some franchisees actually have more than one territory too, because they get double their share of leads. Not uncommon these days. Actually, more and more so for top operators to have multiple divisions. It's also increasingly common in recent years to change divisions. You're doing one particular division and you find that, say, the work's a bit too hard, so you shift to another one. I had that happen today, actually, or it was yesterday. One franchisee was not doing very well in one division, and so I talked about what's available, so now he's looking at cleaning. So that was
it happens sometimes. People change their mind in training. They might hear something from someone else and they've changed. It's happened before.
Yeah, it's a bit of an issue. The one thing you can't do is poach. If you're a franchisor in training and you are seen as poaching someone as a franchisee, you're in big trouble. So you've got to be careful what you say if you're a franchisor in having lunch here. You don't want to start, trying to get people across.
But we've had a few guys might do fencing and might not like it, then shift over to mowing after 6 months. There's a few test and tag guys who were with us for 27 years. Don McInnes and a guy called Gavin, 27 years, went from trees to test and tag. Don went from mowing to test and tag. So it's quite common for people to change.
You can also do it gradually too.
Driving school's another.
What you're doing is you're doing one particular division and you need a bit more work. So we put you down for cross-divisional work, which is easier to do because for cross-divisional work you only get the work that the division doesn't work, but you get a hold of everybody else. Most of all, business, of course. So you get a chance to have a look and you say, well, this carpet cleaning stuff, that's pretty good. I reckon I can make some money out of that. So then they might shift across, or they might put employees on, this kind of thing. It's common, actually. It's a funny thing. People have this vision in gyms that to be top earner, you have to be a franchisor. But actually, most of the top earners in gyms are franchisees. And they wouldn't particularly want to be a franchisor because they couldn't make as much money.
Depends what your goals are as well. Like Gerald, who's, I shouldn't say his last name, but the guy who's earning a lot of money, he's got a team of 5 and he has a bunch of body corps and does a whole bunch of stuff beyond mowing as well. People think it's $2 million mowing lawns. No, it's not. It's doing a whole bunch of other things as well. So within your business as mowing, you can do the cross-divisional stuff.
Yeah.
We just have to give you the insurance for it that's relevant, and you make sure you can do it is the main thing, but that's pretty much it, isn't it?
Yeah. There's a wonderful book called The Millionaire Next Door. And it points out that people think that the typical, this is American, but not too different to Australia, people think that your richest people tend to be your tech gurus and your cyber experts and all the rest of that kind of bankers and financiers and lawyers. In actual fact, numerically speaking, most of the millionaires are actually people like us. People who start with the trades business. We don't spend a lot of money. I mean, look at my clothes. This is all Kmart, Woolworths. I mean, we don't spend a lot. And we just quietly go along and build business and work out ways to just improve what we do. So it's a lot of people out in gyms. It's different. There's a funny story in that book, actually. It's a good one, where they actually put on a dinner for these people they were interviewing, the millionaires, and there was all this caviar and fancy food and champagne and stuff. And these millionaires come in, and all they want to do is that they want beer and beer and pies and stuff like that. I forget exactly what they were, but it's that kind of food, because they weren't used to the luxurious stuff. It was so different. Apparently, the journalists were the ones that ate all the fine food, because the millionaires didn't want it. So yeah, we're proud of it, actually. We love it. We love people who are successful. It's fantastic. I just like this story. This $2 million guy.
Oh, Gerald, yeah, it's amazing, and he's going to come back on the podcast next year, and he wants to hit $4 million revenue. So yeah. I'm sure he'll do it.
And we get people like you're going to hear tomorrow morning. You'll hear from Dan Cole, who's an amazing success story. This is a guy who was a high school dropout, worked at McDonald's, buys a franchise with the greatest trepidation. He is now one of our top franchisors. He's going to probably late in this year, he's going to open up America for us. I cannot imagine where he's going to be like in 20 years' time.
Great.
Long way.
Well, thanks, Jim.
Well, good person today was a good story as well to illustrate. It was Jason Japp, who was down at lunch. He does scratch and dent. Yeah. I think he's a good story. So we want to tell a little bit about Jason, because he's a good example.
Well, Jason was just a kid. Jip is creepy. You look at him now, he's
put on a little bit of weight, yeah.
He's put on a kilo or two since then. He was a little guy, very thin. He came to his early 20s. He didn't have enough money for a franchise. I just liked him. I just thought this guy's got some real potential. So I put him in on vendor terms, and he was great. But he had a good background. He'd done some pretty responsible jobs in the past. So I thought it was impressive for a guy. Had got some money together. did very well, became one of my first franchisors, and then left and went off to found a major business in the scratch and dent area. Now he's come back as a divisional. He's already got 20. He's only been going about, how long, 80 months?
Yeah, not even 2 years, yeah.
So he's doing really well. It's a great division. It's a new one. Scratch and dent's when you fix problems with cars instead of going to a panel shop.
It's way better service. You don't have to go to a panel shop. Mobile, they come to you, they sort it out.
Not to speak of the guys, because what happens is you get a guy in a panel shop, he's being paid like $35 an hour, and he comes out and he's making $5,000 a week. So he talks to his mate back in the panel shop. He said, "What are you guys doing here?" They come out too.
They do. It's a really good division for anyone who's a panel beater or anything like that.
Not good for the owners of the panel shop though, because
no, it's not. Definitely not as well. Guys, got any more questions for Jim? Please feel free to come up and ask him. Go for it. Get as much info as you need.
G'day, Jim again. I wanted to know, have you done a lot of travel, and would you ever want to see all 7 continents?
Good question.
I've done very little travel, and I dislike travel intensely. It's the one thing I hate my wife being away, but she goes overseas, I will not go. I just dislike it. I don't like planes. I haven't even been on a plane for how many years?
It'll be a long time.
Long time. And the great thing about the internet, I've got a nice setup in my office there. I can do podcasts all over the world. I've been talking to people in the United States, everywhere. I don't have to travel. I like it. For me, long trip, half an hour to my farm, digging potatoes. That's my idea of travel.
So you don't plan on going to Antarctica at all?
Actually, where have I been?
You went to Thailand? That was your last one overseas, I reckon?
I've been to Thailand. I've been to Asia. I've been to China. My wife's Chinese, so I went back to meet her parents. I've been to Europe because I was in the UK for the year when I was 10. I've been to Africa because when the ship we stayed at, we went through Egypt because we went up the Suez Canal, so I remember that one. I've been to North America because I went across to Canada and to visit my franchisees over there, and also we tried to go in Texas. So in fact, the only continents I haven't been to, obviously I live in Australia, would be Antarctica and South America.
There you go. Good question.
So I've been to most of them. But I'm very happy with that. As far as I'm concerned, my travelling days are over. The only place I'd love to go and see is Greece, actually. I really would. I just can't stand travelling there. If they developed a foolproof matter transporter, I could there I are at the Parthenon, I'd probably think about it.
Beam me up, Jimmy.
Yeah, that's right. But I tell you what, I wouldn't do it. And you know why? Because if somebody disintegrated you and built a copy of you somewhere else, how would you know it was you? I mean, how would the consciousness, as far as I'm concerned, you're just dead, you're gone. And there's a perfect copy. So I'd never use I take that back, I would never use a matter transporter. I always thought that was crazy. But you know why they had the Beam Me Up Scotty things? Because they didn't have enough money in the original Star Trek series to have shuttles and stuff, because they had a very low budget. That's how the Beam Me Up thing came about. Yeah.
Maybe you'd be more comfortable with Jim's Airways.
Jim's Air, yeah. We done that once, didn't we? We got a call.
We did it as a spoof.
Yeah, we did, yeah.
Yeah, one of my contacts at News Corp rang me up to, what's this about Jim's Airways? And I said, have a look at the date.
Yeah.
Oh.
April Fool's one, yeah.
April Fool's. Yeah. We've done a few good gags, haven't we?
We have. We've done Jim's.
We are still, Jim Land, we're still getting citizenships. I just signed a couple more this week.
We donate all the money to Men's Shed.
All the money goes to Men's Shed.
It's crazy. We've had people from America buy those certificates. I think we had Ecuador or someone bought a certificate. It was pretty interesting. So,
yeah. We've raised quite a few $1,000 for Men's Shed, which is our favourite charity.
Now. Yeah.
How much?
$4,000, which has been good.
Yeah, that's good. Great cause.
It has. Guys, got any more questions for Jim? Feel free to come up and ask him. We've got some time. If not, I've got some here which I can read out from people. So one here real quickly, Jim. What are some mistakes that you've made, mistakes that taught you valuable lessons about running a successful business? So advice for everyone here about mistakes.
Worst mistake is getting into things I don't understand. I've tried businesses like Trading Exchange more than once, actually. I've tried to do a factory to make fiberglass trailers. In the early days I had a computer shop, mower shop, tried to have a tourist resort going. I tend to rush into things I don't really know much about, and one thing you've got to learn is to be humble, that you just got to recognise. The reason we're successful in gyms is because we understand the generic business of franchising really well. customer service, contracts, IT, the rest of it. But when you want to run a specific division, you find somebody who knows that division. Somebody who's been a test and tag person, somebody who understands scratch and dent like Jason does. Or, when Stephanie and John come to me about jumping castles, they understood that industry and they knew what it was about. And we started talking about how, that jumping castle in Tasmania flew off, which is a huge story. They don't know what to do about it, that kind of stuff. So you've got to find the expertise, but stick to. We had an inquiry today about a potential franchise.
Appliance repair, yeah.
Appliance repair was okay. That's a possibility. But there's another one which was based on site-based, and I said we don't do site-based. We don't understand site-based, so we're not going to do it. He said he's happy to do it, and I said no, we can't give you the proper support because we don't understand that site-based stuff. We'd never, ever, ever do anything like a fast food joint.
QSR, like a Jim's Burger or nothing like that.
We don't understand it. It's very different. So, yeah, stick to what you know is probably one of my things I've learnt the hard way many more times than it should have taken me to learn.
Well, real quickly, I'll ask it on behalf of people. New division. So how can people here maybe do a new division? Do you want to tell them about the process? Because it's a question that comes up sometimes about doing new division. So. Okay,
first of all, it's got to be a division we don't already do. It can't overlap with any, because territory rights are very solid in gyms. You can't do anything that overlaps with any other division because you beat territory rights. That's the start. We want to see a potential for making at least $70 an hour from an average operator, not the best one, the average. We've got to see that kind of potential earnings. We like to do things that are got plentiful work, plentiful leads, because the nature of our system is we don't make a lot of money per franchisee. It's quite small. So you've got to make it work, you need at least about 20 franchises in a region. And we'd like a division to have a potential of at least 100 franchisees, Australia and New Zealand wide. So those are key requirements. But then the main thing beyond that is we look at the person running it. Now, if they're from outside, what business have you run? What do you know about this business? That's how long have you run it for? What profit are you making? Those kinds of things. That's the question we want to know. How impressive are they? Do they have that kind of charisma, that kind of skill? And the other option is, these days increasingly common, is we look to existing franchisees. So you get someone like Lance Azapati, who's a Mowing franchisee, very good Mowing franchisee, a lot of experience, got a great customer service record. That's the first thing I looked at. What's your customer service record? Are they a trainer? Have they helped other people? Are they making very good money? And I'm not talking about $3,000 a week. I'm talking about at least $4,000 or $5,000 a week, something that above average. And that person then comes along and has investigated the industry and knows about it, then we bet on that person. So it's quite an arduous process. We would accept maybe 1 in 10 or 1 in 20 people that actually come. But we make it very easy actually. All we ask for, it's a rental. You've got to achieve 30 franchises within 3 years. And all we charge is the first 6 months fees in advance. There's no other cost. So, and then we have regular meetings with them. We have divisional conferences every 6 months, which is a full day, which you've got to come to. We have every week, every month, there's a Zoom meeting where the divisionals get together.
We do a lot of video content. We interview franchisees. We do all that sort of stuff.
And then you've got sort of, help and support and screening as far as they want it. So it's kind of we're doing very well actually. This new model, the one that requires the rental kind of thing, is working very well. I think we've had...
IT was on it, then you had bathrooms have been doing it, then you've got scratch and dent, you've got driving school who are probably going to achieve it, so it's been a good model to 30 franchisees.
As far as I see, most of them are actually, the great majority are actually hitting that target of getting to 30 in 3 years. Laundry was a great one. That was started by a cleaning guy, and that's now got 120. In fact, he hit 100 within 3 years.
He did, yeah.
But a great guy, Bill. He's a great mentor to others too.
But the point is, most of these divisions are coming from franchisees in the divisions. That's the key, right? Not really from outsiders. It's generally people from within the franchisee base, especially the recent ones.
These days, more and more from within, yeah. Because we've got a lot of talent out there. You've got 5,500 people. You have some quite extraordinary individuals. And one of our jobs is to actually try and find them. Because when I ring my 10-year veterans, it's one of the things I do. I ring people who have been going 10 years or 20 years or 30 years. And just ask them about their business and what they're doing. And quite often I stick them across to Joel and say, it's a great story. Somebody doing so well, somebody who's turned their life around, somebody who's making amazing money. Like a guy who was a manager for decades, and he bought a mowing franchise in his 60s. But like retirement age. And he said he makes far more money mowing lawns than he ever did working as a manager. Or a guy who has nothing, like in his 50s, got nothing, no savings, no nothing. 10 years later, he's got a house, he's got a boat, he's really established. I mean, it's just great stories.
It happened really quick. Like Lance, for driving school, 18 months, he went from minus $5,000 or whatever, because we'd done an interview on him, and then having all the money in the bank after 18 months, and then he's doing a new division. So in the space of less than 2 years, he's really changed his life, which is quite amazing how people can do that with the Jim's franchise sometimes.
It's one of the hard lessons to get across, because people think that you've got to have a lot of money or education and stuff to get ahead, but really it's character, overwhelmingly character. It's not even brain so much. I don't think you have to be the smartest person in the world to actually be good. You just have to have the right attitude, the learning, willingness to listen. And you look at the top people like Dan and like Haydar Hussain, and they're quite humble people. They're always willing to listen and learn. They're always finding out something else. What don't I know? How can I do it better?
They're the best. Got another question here which is related from Scott from Jumping Castles, because I can see this shirt in my corner of my eye.
Don't want to answer himself?
Do you remember what your question was for Jim down here?
Yeah, come and ask it.
Sort of relates because everyone's here is a new franchisee, so. You get your branding on there, we put a social
that's right.
clip. Yeah.
You never know, you could get 100,000 views on this.
Yeah, make it a good one.
Show the brand. Very colourful.
It is very colourful. We'll show that off. So Zach and Scott from Jumping Castles Party Hire in Brisbane. Effectively, our question was basically, what advice would you have for us who are starting in what is a relatively different franchise in the group? What would be your advice for us jumping into the first week, the first month, the first 6 months, year? What would your advice be?
Well, it's actually, Jumping Castles is good because you've got a lot of work. I mean, Stephanie told me this afternoon you've got hundreds of unserviced leads.
Yeah.
So the demand is there. It's a real good, popular one. I'm sort of said we've got 4 franchisees now. I'm surprised there hasn't gone more. But that's what I said to her, is that she should start her own franchise and employ people if necessary, because it's great. Look, you can put a jumping castle on. You charge, what is it, $300? That's right. And you leave it there for 4 hours. That's your basic job. Now, that's not too bad money. You just got to put it there, set it up, come back 3 hours later, pick it up. I mean, how difficult is that? But if you really want to do it, then you put the candy machine and all the rest of it in, and you're making it $600. So it's potentially this is a fun thing to do around kids at the weekend. Who wouldn't love that?
Absolutely. And we've got our slushy machines, the fairy floss machine,
yes,
popcorn machine. We're looking at all sorts of fun stuff, so very excited for it.
They did one of those, what do they call the things that you hit the...
pinata.
Pinata. They did a Jim's pinata.
They did. We saw it. Yeah, the Jim's one. Absolutely.
I really crushed that pinata.
I enjoyed it a bit too much, that one, hitting that.
I did. I just started whacking it and it sort of flew apart. So that was quite fun.
So I guess the second question is, although you've shared how much you despise travelling, how do you feel about popping up to Brisbane early next month to join us for our launch day? It sounded like you're pretty keen to travel from what you said earlier. And it's fun. We'll give you a free jump.
We get a free jump.
Have your launch day here and I'll gladly turn up. Or I'll present myself by video on a giant screen, like Big Brother in 1984. You will join this movement.
We can get Jim to do a video for you saying, just announcing we're live in Brisbane or something if you want, and we can send it up. I'm happy we can do that.
I know it's a weird thing. The thing is that if I go interstate, I might talk directly to a room full of 50 franchisees. I might have a chat with them afterwards. But being here and available, any franchisee can ring me, email me anytime, and I respond really fast. If you don't believe me, give me a try. I mean, I seriously mean that. See how quickly I respond to you and how I'll investigate interest, I'll look things up, I'll do all kinds of stuff. I'm very, very because I'm not wasting my time travelling out to Brisbane. Sorry, but... But
it's fun. We're the fun division. It's worth the trip.
Well, it is a fun division. I'll get you that. And when you run one here, I'll be definitely coming and I'll be there and I'll bounce on the castle for you.
Well, we've already done. We did the launch video here actually, and you did bounce on the castle.
I did bounce on it. I would bounce quite well. I'm an old guy, but I'm pretty fit. I am all there. So
I bounce well too, but for different reasons.
But I was going to say, have you seen the interview with Billy and Chantel?
Yes,
Yeah.
the podcast, absolutely.
Yeah. So they earn pretty good money. I think it's
Yeah.
a little bit more. We've underquoted what you guys can do, but it's good that and they do corporates as well, which I think people don't know. So they do a lot of corporates in Canberra actually. So
I'm astonished actually. We really should take off this division. It's so attractive. The fees are low because it's basically weekend, but then they tend to be working extended weekends anyway.
Yeah.
So Friday to Monday, and then there's the
corporate stuff. Yeah.
They do a funny thing about it. From what they said is they use a lot of grown-ups. Adults love the kids stuff. They love the bouncy castles and stuff, and the pinatas and all the kids stuff, and all these people in their 20s and 30s are doing this sort of stuff. It's amazing.
Well, Billy and Chantel was saying they pay a lot of the older people request the Jim's branded castle. So they obviously have all the different ones like the cars and stuff, but the Jim's branded one a lot of the adults request.
Well, what a great business. You can start off doing it the weekend. Fees are quite modest. It's fun. It's easy. It's not as though it's like, I'm fencing and stuff. It takes a bit of effort, but this isn't too difficult. This is just unpacking a bit of stuff, having great fun, and you're mixing with people who are happy. I think it's going to go great. It just needs more success stories, I suppose you'd say.
Give us a couple of months and we'll show you another one.
Yes.
Absolutely. But if you want a video from Jim announcing your launch or something, we can do it on the phone and flip it up. I'm happy to do that.
Okay.
Yeah, absolutely.
Sounds good.
But not travel.
Easy. Thank you.
Thank you for the question. That's a really good one as well. But we do have the video online with the launch video with you jumping on you had a good time sliding down the slide and all that sort of stuff as well. And people commented on your socks because you had a big hole in your socks as well. And that's all they tend to focus on when you're doing it.
That is true, actually. Yeah. I do have...
well, we deliberately put something, like Jim he did an unironed shirt. We do a video. What's the comments about?
Yeah.
I
love my unironed shirt for some reason.
I don't know what it is.
The fact that I'm a total scruff. But basically, my thing on clothing is this. You wear clothing until it's so full of holes that it's just unwearable anymore. And to me, a sock with a single hole in it's pretty usable. Second or third hole, it's starting to become a little bit iffy. I don't darn my socks, I will not go that far.
Jim's Holy Socks.
Jim's Holy Socks. He's got a few of those.
I always go to the supermarket and I look.
The black and gold brand stuff.
Where's the stuff down the bottom? I'm not going to buy it. It's not cheap enough.
Home brand, all that sort of stuff.
Yeah, home brand. It's got to be home brand. So.
The funniest video there's a video we did online on YouTube. It's a short, and I think it's like 100,000 views or something. You took your shoe off and you showed people at the camera your hole in your foot. And you had a big hole in your sock.
The hole in my foot.
Hole in your sock. Hole in your sock. Same thing. But you had the hole in your sock and you were showing it to the camera like that. People found it quite refreshing that someone of everyone sees $1 billion online running at the holes in your socks and you're still wearing them. So.
Yeah. People ask, what does it feel like to be a billionaire? I haven't got a clue. I'm not even remotely close. They tried to put me down for the BRW, Rich 250. Don't be a joke.
We did a video the other day. It's funny because people do the Wikipedia search and it says 500 million or $1 billion and they think that's what all you get.
Yeah, because that's what they want, the turnover. My franchisee's probably turning over $1 billion. I get maybe 1%. So, yeah, which is good. It's good. I'm pretty well off. I can't complain. I buy all the socks I want. But
Holes or not.
Buy all the talking books I want. Buy all the fruit I want. I am rich in things that matter. And they've got a great family, got great kids, got a wonderful wife that I adore. I am the happiest man alive.
Last one here, Jim, quickly, Jim. Mark Russell's from Clean and Gone. Just to close on this one. Other than your family, what specific achievement would you consider your most important legacy?
Well, Jim's, really. We've got 5,500 people who most of them are doing really well. We do much better than anybody else. We do much better than people going to business for themselves, much better than any competitor. I know we do, really do. That's why I said, everybody, you want to buy a franchise, go and look at the competitors, get a list of their franchisees and ring them, and then ring ours. I know what's going to happen. So that's to me, that's a great achievement. And when you hear stories about people whose lives have been changed, that is thrilling like no other. So when I write to you in a month's time, I keep on saying I know, but you write back to me. Will you do that? Because I want to know how you're going. And most of you will be saying it's great. It's good. I'm loving it. Not making peak money just yet, which you don't first month, but I'm loving it. I'm making above pay for work guarantee. I enjoy it. My franchise is great. That really lifts my day, I tell you what.
I don't think he's too busy, because a lot of people go, I know you're busy.
They often say, I know you're so busy. No, I'm not. I'm never too busy. I've probably been today contacted by, 4 or 5 franchisees about something or other. Something about complaints and something else about franchisor issues, something else about marketing or social media. I get it all the time and I love it. I really do. And I don't turn my phone off. I don't check emails at the weekends, after hours. I'll check my emails until 10 o'clock tonight, probably 9:30, 10 o'clock tonight. And the first thing in the morning, so I won't miss anything. If I see a missed call from one of my people, bring them back. Yeah, it's fun. It's a great job. I love it. I love it.
There you go. So we're on that note there, Jim. So thank you for your questions tonight, guys. Now, Jim, what were the 3 questions that stood out to you? Now, we do have a monopoly on offer as well. I just didn't have it down
You
here.
can have it. You can choose it if you want it first.
Exactly.
Well, there was some really good ones, actually.
You wrote down some scribble there. I can't read that, but you can.
I can read my own writing.
It's not easy
Nobody
to
else
read.
can.
No.
I love that question about fitness. That was good.
Fitness, all right. What would you like? Come up, take anything you like.
I'll have the monopoly.
Monopoly, all right. Come up and see me tomorrow.
Okay.
We'll get to you.
Something. Who said about the teacher? That was you, wasn't it?
Yolandi.
Nobody's ever asked that one before, so I really like that.
Come and pick what you like. Come and grab anything you like.
Pick what you like.
Yeah.
Um,
You can come up now, grab anything you like. There's some shirts there, some hats.
and the one about loyalty, I thought that was a good question. That was a good question.
The loyalty scheme, the customer
Loyalty
one.
scheme. Even
Yeah,
though
Josh,
we think in terms of
take anything you like.
franchisees. I have to say, I also loved the other one. Who said about my first franchise? I know I usually say, yeah, that
Go
was
for
a
it.
good question too.
What would you like, Josh?
What sizes are we rolling with here?
We can get your size if
Come
it's
on,
not big
come on,
enough
come
or if it's too small.
I don't usually put 4 down, but I think in this case there were 4.
No, but if you did ask a question, though, you can come up and take it.
But
We've got
anybody
beers
else?
here with Jim, guys, chuck me your phone. We can do it right now. There's a nice light here as well. It's a bit more quieter today as well, so we can do it for you as well. So, guys, thank you very much for your attention and good luck with the rest of your training week as well. We'll leave it there. All good. Thank you very much.